Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having wonderful days. Let's head right on into Collectively Rewilding. All right, here we are in Collectively Rewilding, and it has been just a wildly busy day over here today. Definitely some big things going on that I had to deal with, but not necessarily in the garden or here in Collectively
You should
Rewilding.
close that
Let
blinds and curtain
me
over
just
there before you go to bed.
get that corrected really quickly there. And so um, everything that I did today was either for my paycheck job or involving the grant that I'm going to get for the Gardenary certification, right? So Utah as a state has a grant that they have through the SBDCs, right? That's why in our other community, we're always talking about those SBDC mentors. And in finding out that I paid for this certification, he said, well, never pay full price for training for your business because Utah has this grant fund for entrepreneurs who are doing training. And so automatically, I'm pretty much guaranteed the ability to get any kind of training that I need for Collectively Rewilding at half price. So definitely, if you're doing anything like that, check with the sources in your area. But that's more for the other community, but it did come up today and it does absolutely involve us here as it's all about my garden coaching certification, right? And so tons of stuff, but nothing great to talk about. How about you guys? Anything going on in your gardens or in your wild world? I have this feeling that so many of us are that busy, right? It's just, whew, it's just wild. That's the wild right now. The wild is the busy. So what I was thinking that we could do is pull out the articles that I was talking about wanting to read for the to survive or not to survive space right here. To survive or not to survive is a book that I've been writing for about 5 years, and I broke it down into a course that isn't completed, but you, of course, all have access to it. And it's something that I've made a study of pretty well my entire life. I think that the ways that people did things in the past is fascinating to begin with. And up until about 50 to 100 years ago, maybe as many as 150 years ago, most people tried to have survival supplies on hand. They'd have extra food. They would know where to access water. They didn't really keep it stored per se in the same ways, right? But they had rope and they had candles and lanterns and things that didn't require batteries or electricity or piped in plumbing. And there are times in our own communities that this can happen and has happened for Louisiana, for North Carolina very recently, Florida. You guys were worried about it last week, Miss Wendy. Has everything passed by then? And I think you're muted if you are talking to us, Wendy. And she may not be at a place where she can unmute and talk everybody. So we'll go ahead and move on. But hopefully everything is going down there in Florida much better than it was last week. And so this is a magazine I picked up, Backwoods Survival Guide. I think it's interesting. I'd not seen this particular publication before. The caption or subtitle is Practical Advice for the Simple Life. So it's not just survival mentality as in a catastrophe, it's sort of an off-grid type of a magazine as well, right? So living off the land, over 200 tips to help you thrive, self-reliance skills.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hey, Wendy.
I was trying to mute something on my phone. What
So
was the question you was asking?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What was the question you was asking?
If those storms have gone ahead and passed by where you're not worried about them anymore.
Still out on the watch, but we're getting a lot of rain.
Are
So
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
as usual, but it's still being watched.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess our season is not over until like November, surprisingly. Yeah.
That makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. That's from my memory, that's about when the shipping lanes would start to be problematic between
yeah,
the continents, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's the only context I've had. I don't have any experience with the East Coast, really. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember one time it came last minute, like when it was about to be over, and that's when the one came. And I was like, oh my God, so they're still watching it.
mhm.
Yeah, a couple are developing, but so far we're just getting heavy, heavy rain. It's like as if, we, like we getting a hurricane, but it's like it just rains so much that certain parts of Miami get flooded. I don't, I guess the draining system or,
Well, it just gets
uh,
inundated, right? Like overwhelmed.
yeah, a certain
Mhm.
section get really, really flooded, especially around here because between every condo community is a lake. So when it floods, it overflows and the road is like, oh man,
Dangerous,
so
maybe.
yeah, some cars are, they have to pull over or they stop, get stuck, so I don't know why it takes so long to fix that, but it's been like that for years, 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 years. And then maybe it's hard because I guess we're like, I don't know the term for it, is it above sea level, below sea level, or on sea level or something? Because if
That
you go on the,
definitely affects how hard it is to handle the incoming water, right? If you're below sea level, it almost has to be pumped out no matter what. If you're
yeah,
at sea level, it still may need to get pumped out. When you're above sea level, there's going to be that additional gravity that's going to help fix the problem. I
yeah.
did.
So I think we're on sea level, and some of the hotels, like condos, like luxury condos on the east on the beach that have their private beach. Um, it's like they build their own little mound, like their own little hill, just to be above, in case hurricanes, that the water can just go right back
Absolutely.
out. Yeah, so there's like really
So
high. Yeah,
I
that's how
found
they
the
build
little
it.
tools that you can keep in your wallet, like in your back pocket, even. Um,
Hmm.
I've never gotten it out of the plastic. Let me see if I can figure out how to open it. But this is a magnifying glass, right?
Hmm.
So that you could see things a little bit better, and it should be able to cast light. It is plastic, but the marketing on it was that if you had sunlight and you held it, that it would start a flame for you, right? A fire.
Oh,
So then this here, oops, and I'm showing myself on
Girl
this.
Scout,
It's like
Boy Scout mode.
this is a little foldable knife that is able to fit like a credit card into your pocket. Now it's not very durable,
Hmm.
but so it has this little lock right here. We're gonna open it so that it can come out, and then oh, doesn't want to get past there. Okay, so once that opens up, it comes out like this, and then it should. Then you fold this part over, and it clips. Not very well. It's supposed to kind of clip in here, but you can hold it then like a hilt.
Hmm.
And so that is something that you can keep in your pocket.
And do they have any like little tools, like little pocket knife or anything like that?
Yes, those just won't fit into your
Or
pocket.
scissors? Okay.
Yeah, I have those for my real bug out bag, right? And I can
Mhm.
bring that in and show you guys. And we can have a whole, I decided I won't set up an event, but we'll have just some little impromptu ones when I have enough time, and I can get them prepped for you because they take a little bit more prep. They're not all just right here to hand in my office. And then the last piece that I have is more like a tool, like what you're saying. Okay. So
Mhm.
we've got different bolt, like wrench sizes right here. This is a bottle
Okay.
opener. There's a sharp edge right here. My bandage, I'm just so using this finger because of the bandage on my other finger, guys, but you can see there it's got like a sharp edge a little bit that you could use to open a can of food, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a bottle and a can opener, and I can't remember what the little line is for. Yeah, 7. A butterfly wrench. And so hopefully there would be somebody that knew how to use something that is called a butterfly wrench and can look like that. I don't understand it myself. It sounded like my dad might have been going to bed, so we can't bother my mom to get him to answer. And there is this number 6 is a 4-position wrench. And again, I don't understand why it's got these little markings, but 4 positions somehow. And it's got a little saw blade on there, right? Like that's pretty sharp, right? My finger can't move. I would start cutting it if I put pressure and kept trying to force it.
What were you wanting to know, Sabrina?
What is a butterfly wrench that looks like this as a temporary tool?
A butterfly wrench. I
No
have no clue.
Right? And so we don't use the tools a lot, but we're around tools a lot, and we have no idea what they're talking about. But hopefully somebody in your vicinity would know if that need came up, right? And so there are other little edges. So there's actually
I want to invest in like a little I guess battery operated fan or something.
That would be, of course, wonderful if you're
for when the electricity goes out, we have cases of that during a storm, Yeah.
A lot of things that you can do. You can get small solar powered generators that don't cost a tremendous amount so that you can charge like your phone, right? You can get wind up radios that don't take any kind of battery at all. I believe my parents got me one of those. I have one. I think my parents are the ones that got it for us. We might have 2. They might have gotten us one and we might have already had one. They know that we're into that kind of stuff. So a lot of times for birthdays or Christmases, we'll end up getting some kind of neat little something. And then my neighbor next door gave us this neat tool that you twist into a stump. And that's one of the things that I'll show you guys. And I'm planning on actually doing that outside because I have the materials. I can show you how to turn a little stump into an actual little stove. You could set something on it with hooks and different things like that, right? And so it's this neat little gadget and some oil lamps that are little bitty like this, and you could put even like rubbing alcohol in them or something and have a tiny little flame, a little like candle.
Okay.
So lots of neat little things that are out there. In the end, you want to just have the basics. And so those little tools that I showed you that you could put in your back pocket, you can get little film canisters like I showed you guys last week that have the waterproof or weatherproof matches. They're not perfect. You can't go out in a pool and strike it underwater, right? But they work if they're slightly damp. And they have little fishing lines and weights and hooks in them a lot of times, maybe a few Band-Aids, just in a little film canister. You can order them online. So if you just say a film canister survival kit. See, that's the AI overview. And then if you go to shopping, well, these are big. This is much bigger than I intend. They're not showing one. And if I pull up Amazon, it shows more than I want it to show. Let me see. I can pull up an incognito window though. Incognito window, Amazon, and then survival kit in film canister. Gosh, I guess they just don't make them anymore. That's kind of weird. They used to put them in those little tiny canisters. That's just funny. I guess that was something that the lockdowns killed, right? They don't make them
Mm-hmm.
anymore. That's really unfortunate. But you could make one up yourself, of course.
What is it?
It's just a little film canister, and you could put some matches in it and like some fishing line and a little sink and a lure,
Oh, okay.
or
That's
a
cool.
weight and a lure,
Yeah.
the different things like that. Or you can just buy one of these little pre-made that are a little bit more, so this is a kit in a can, like a sardine can. So,
Oh, okay.
and it's going to
Okay.
be basically the same idea. It's just a little
So
bit
why
larger.
couldn't you use like a prescription pill bottle to put
Yeah, you could use
matches in?
anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they
Okay.
used to sell them built in film canisters. Like I have one in that bag that I was showing everybody last week.
I
And they
remember during a hurricane, my uncle he took he took like a big large can, empty can, like one of those, I guess 48 ounces or something cans, and took both of the tops off, and then took a candle, lit it up, put it inside the canister, like the can, and then put a pot on top, and then we cooked. Whatever,
like
like
maybe an old Folgers coffee can or something
yeah,
like that. Is
that's what
that
he
what you mean?
did.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's some trick that you're supposed to be able to make them generate more heat by using terracotta pots, but I've never really understood the principles of it. But you can do some like little Inferno stoves and things like that.
Some
And
people
so
put like they'll take like a Dutch pot and put alcohol, light it up, fire, and then put another pot on top and then cook. Or so they would, it's like it was creative things that
yeah, that's
um
creative. It sounds a little dangerous, unless they know what they're doing, and they also had the correct pot to put onto a direct flame, right? Like the Dutch oven is the type of pot that can go on a cast iron Dutch oven, but then you would also need another type of cast iron to put onto that direct
yeah,
flame.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
right? And then
know.
you better know what you're doing with fire if you're going to try that mechanism. And also, please step outside. Do not do that in the
Yeah,
house, right?
exactly.
So,
I
um,
know.
and a lot of people don't know about these things any longer,
No, no,
right?
they don't,
So that's why I'm saying I really could feel the need for a full weekly class that would go with to survive or not to survive, but I don't have enough time right now. So we'll do some
Okay.
regular events with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I
But there's
think I'm
so
gonna
many.
start like just as a good habit, like when it comes close to hurricane season, start buying things that I see on sale and have a
And
storage
remember,
bin.
your friend did it all year long, right?
Yeah,
Which really
uh-huh.
doesn't stretch your budget.
Yeah, yeah. Start saving little things and
Mhm.
save that only for, emergency supplies,
Yeah.
the batteries and
And then, like she said,
um
she rotates it in, right? So that it's
yeah, she
never
does.
wasted
Mm-hmm.
money, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in our canned goods, we have the types of canned goods that I was talking to you guys about last week with the 25-year shelf life, right? But those are stored, okay? We have a very full pantry, however, that we just keep stocked all the time. And
Me
so, as
too.
an
Yeah.
example, I always have about probably 25-ish cans of refried beans and 25-ish cans of green beans and um, tri beans. We like whole beans that are pinto beans, kidney
Flat
beans, and black
beans.
beans, right? And so we
Yeah.
have the tri beans. And so we have about 25 cans of that. I'm just estimating, right? All the time. The canned gravy that we use, we have, 6 or 7 of those. And we have pastas that are there and cereals and condiments and the canned meats that we use and all of these things. And you just start slowly. So if you've never started having a large pantry, you've never maintained a large pantry as a kind of a bank account, guys. It's actually very much a bank account. When our house got foreclosed on in Wyoming in 2016-17, when we were moving out and taking care of all of that, we lived off of our preps because we had freezers full of meat, we had cupboards full of canned goods, we had a pantry full of canned goods, and like dry goods like granola bars, um, our youngest daughter really loves cosmic brownies and Nutty Buddies, and my husband dips into at least the Nutty Buddies pretty heavily himself, you know. So those things that have a longer shelf life, around 2 year shelf life, and again, those are best if buy dates. They've been a lot more
What saves me money is the
So-
food pantry, especially
I'm
during
sorry.
like
There were two of you. Go ahead, Wendy, and
Oh,
say
I'm
what you were going
sorry.
to say, and then no, you're good.
Oh, what helps me is the food pantries or
Yes.
so, like local food pantries, and especially during Thanksgiving, they have good canned goods and stuff. So those, check the expiration, and then
For sure.
that
Yeah.
helps
I've seen
me
some kind of
through.
hinky
Yeah,
things. We had
definitely
a
helps me
neighbor
through the
that did
hurricane
that.
time, and then that's when I stock up instead of having to purchase so much money on canned goods. I would look at to see what I have in my pantry and work with it, and then whatever missing, then I'll go buy. But food pantry really helps me save money
That's
too.
wonderful. And
Yeah.
they're really well stocked after the lockdowns, right? They've continued to stay pretty well stocked. So we had
Yeah.
a neighbor that would go to just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many she went to. And whenever she'd come home, she'd kind of corral us into helping her unload her van. And really with the bakery stuff is where I would really say, especially in our area with what she was bringing in, really look at that bakery stuff and really look at the stuff that was supposed to be kept cold. I felt like some of the things weren't refrigerated properly before they were handed off to the people that were bringing them home, right? I took her one time and then we saw in her van, but that I can't really judge because maybe she drove around for a long time afterwards, right? But the one time that I took her, the cold things that we brought out of the van and took in, I would have been a little bit leery of. So you do have to be careful, definitely, right? And another thing that we did in California when I was younger, I I was a smart ass little kid and I called it a used food store, but it was this wonderful store that had things that were probably not going to get sold at a regular grocery store. Maybe it had dings or something like that, and you could get things at really good deals. And also, as my mom will definitely probably want to say, shop the sales. Is that what you were going to talk about, Mom?
No, actually, what I was gonna say is one thing that's very good to have on hand and they last indefinitely is dried beans, pinto beans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can buy
Pinto
those
beans, white navy beans, lima
yeah,
beans,
you can buy
right?
those on a reasonable cost and they last basically indefinitely. So
As does rice and pasta,
yeah,
right? They have a very, very long shelf life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honey
you
is
have a
also,
lot of chats in there, Sabrina.
oh, are there questions? Check out if we have some questions there in the chat. Oh, okay, Ethel says, a butterfly wrench can refer to two distinct tools, a hand tool for eye bolts and wing nuts, but it wouldn't fit around a wing nut. I kind of thought about something like that, or a compact single-handed impact wrench with a butterfly-style trigger for tight spaces in automotive, and something well beyond my use to utilize. That's what I read out of that, right? Definitely, we can put that into the member meetups or something. We'll save that and put that in. Thank you, Ethel. And Candace says Sam's Club has a 35-year shelf life bucket on sale every 3 months for like $40. Wow, that's a really good deal. That's a really, really good deal. Wonderful.
Does
And
dry beans last?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Are dry beans good or no? They don't last.
Dry
'Cause,
beans?
like, yeah, can bugs get in it? Like they don't
No, you
last.
do have to be aware of that. And one of the things, yes, and Candace mentions rice as well. So you can put them into more solid containers, right? So when we talked about the fact that Utah is kind of a prepping state because of the LDS, the Mormon church, that one of the things that they taught and that my grandmother did, and she had a huge family. My mother comes from 5 boys and 3 girls, and my grandparents started having children around, I want to say 1934, 36, something like that. 36, it should be 36, yes. So 1936, and had them for 20 years, and they had to do a lot of that before grocery stores were just the thing. You couldn't just go buy a loaf of bread. You couldn't just go buy eggs, right? Like you may have people that you could buy them from, or things like that in your town. You maybe had a bakery that you could buy loaves of bread from. But one of the stories that my grandmother loved to tell was that she used to bake 8 loaves of bread a day. And Mom and I talked about that recently, and she thinks that it was different than that. But that was what my grandmother would say. And so when you have 5 growing boys and a husband in his prime, as well as 2 girls, because my mother was 10 years after her closest sibling. So at one point it was 7 children for quite a while. And then that 8th child. But having 5 boys, 2 girls, herself and her husband to feed every day, she had to make all of those supplies herself, right? So she could buy the flour, she could buy the yeast, she could probably buy the lard, maybe, things like that. But they had a garden, and they probably had chickens, though I didn't really hear her talk about chickens very much.
Yeah, they had chickens, I'm pretty sure, but she put up 1,000 quarts of fruits and vegetables every year, 1,000 quarts, and baked 3 loaves of bread every other day. So,
Oh my.
And so that's what your memory of her still doing it, right? Or is that what you remember her telling you from?
that's what she told me. Yeah, by the time I came around, she wasn't having.
Quite different.
She still canned a lot, but she
Mhm.
didn't have to can anything like that. It was more of a because we liked it so much rather than a necessity.
Right,
When
because
my
at that
brothers and
point there were
sisters were
grocery
growing
stores
up, it was a
and things,
necessity.
right? That by the time, with that 20-year gap between 36 and 56, there were grocery stores at the point, at least by the time you're really having conscious memories. Is that right? Yes, no, maybe so? You muted yourself if you are talking. Anita? Maybe she's having internet issues, Guy. I'm not sure. But I think that by that difference, right, like from 1936 to 1956, there were more access to what we consider a necessity today, a grocery store. And so my grandfather actually managed one of the grocery stores, and that was further on in his career. I'm not sure what he did before he managed at the grocery store. Very interesting. My grandmother taught, right? So she also taught for 25 years. So a lot of interesting stories. All right. So any thoughts, questions? Anybody like, oh my gosh, this survival stuff is completely boring, or wow, that's something I really should have thought about? How many are interested in the random event about the topic? Just shout it out, raise your hand.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's always good to learn that stuff, especially in the times that we are now, I think survival of the fittest, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it didn't work. The word populated class.
Yeah.
Well, lots of very, very lauded, intelligent people warn that things could go badly very easily, either regionally or even globally, right? So having some preps is always, in my opinion, just a good measure.
Sabrina, there was something that I was learning that I guess when news goes around, everybody knows it but me, I guess. But I'm a person who loves like scents, love things to smell good and, you know, perfume my home. And my best friend, and then I heard it from my best friend, and then I heard it from my sister yesterday. Oh, those things are not good for you. It
They're
gives
not. I
like,
stopped when my kids were
yeah.
little.
Is
Yeah,
that
like the
so?
Glade plugins and the Scentsy and
Because I have the automatic spray, yeah.
yeah, any of the ones that are pressurized. They do now have essential oil variations for many of the brands. And if they're actually using essential oils, it will not be bad for you unless they're adding some other junk to it as well.
Okay, because I learned a trick a long time ago, and I was like, oh, let me try this. Because I remember a friend was doing that. She took a crock pot, like the miniature ones, which I have, and that it will only be used for nothing else but essential oils. You put water, put your drops of essential, and put it on warm. and you can burn it, and it's like a diffuser. It
Sort
will,
of. Diffusing is not warm. It's a different kind of a process. And so
okay.
when you heat it up or when you diffuse it, those are two different things. But yes,
Oh, it
when
is?
it's
Okay.
essential oils, unless someone has an allergic reaction to it, right? Which is always possible when people have allergies to certain things. My husband has a problem sometimes with the juniper essential oil
Okay.
because he has an allergy to juniper. And so beyond that, though, essential oils at this time are not considered dangerous. Some people think it's dangerous to ingest, some people don't. We each have to make our own determinations. But as an aromatherapy, there are, I don't believe, any disclaimers out there for it being of ill health.
Yeah, especially
right?
I like the eucalyptus because it clears my sinus and everything.
I use peppermint a lot.
Oh, but yeah, I love peppermint. Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love essential oils. They're amazing.
So learn something new every day. But yeah, I said that the sprays are not good at all, you know.
No, it was really hard for me to give them up to you. I used to always have
So.
the Glade plugins and
Yeah,
the
exactly. I
spray
mean,
or
it saves
freshener.
money, but I do
Smelled
love the
so nice.
convenience of the automatic sprays and all that. But yeah.
I did some research on the
So no
scented
more Bath
pine
and
cones.
Body Works, which is my favorite. So
I
yeah.
don't know about Bath and Body Works. I don't know if they use essential oils or not. But those
Okay.
pine cones that they have like at the grocery stores and the craft stores and things like that in bags that are scented,
Yes.
those should be okay to compost. So they shouldn't be negative for our health. From what I could tell, they're just using oils on those pine cones. And so then when they're fading, I'm going to go back in and take my cinnamon oil and my clove oil because the recipe that I read saw to use, really, it wasn't exactly a recipe, they called it a recipe, but drop for about like every 3 or so of cinnamon on a pine cone and then pick one that had clove so that you had that little bit of variety within the scent, right? And just do that every so often with those pine cones. And then you can either save them and redo that again next season or throw them right into your compost heap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are my smells. That's what I always had was the fall smells. I love the apple cider, cinnamon style smells. And so
Any advice on trying to make changes in life for a better you? So like say you want to eat healthier or you want to stop drinking something to make wiser choices, like how to go about doing it. Instead of, it's kind of hard to do cold turkey. So cut cold turkey. So it's like, what advice do you have?
So if you can find a healthy substitute, that's generally the easiest method to replace the negative habit with the positive habit, right? So that's where we've talked about the
So
puffy
like you
air.
want to eat more vegetables or you want to eat
Mhm.
less
And
red
so
meat,
I don't
like,
know. I know you mentioned having, I believe, like a partner, a husband, boyfriend, something like that in your life.
oh, we broke up. It's been 2 months,
Oh,
so I'm
I'm
single.
so sorry. Okay. So
I'm
then you
single,
don't have to
ladies.
worry about getting anybody
Yeah.
else on board with your eating habits, right? And
Yes.
so when I went to the store today, the biggest thing that I get when it's the sales each week is the seasonal produce that's on sale. So today, for instance, they had jalapenos, white onions, some avocados that are not very high quality. We've decided we didn't want them anymore. And cucumbers, I believe, on sale for 50 cents a pound.
Yes.
Store.
Yes. And I make cucumber ginger juice or cucumber juice.
There you
Refreshing.
go. And
Yeah.
trying to cut sugar as well definitely can be difficult if that's the goal. So you can get the seltzer waters. They have, from my understanding, a lot less sugar, and they're certainly better for you than soda,
The
right? And so I
flavored
replaced,
water, right? The
yeah,
sparkling
like
flavored water.
raspberry seltzer water, right?
Seltzer or just the flavored water? I don't think they're called seltzer.
They
No.
have both. They have
Okay.
both.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm. You can
I
take little
use
packets for just
sugar-free
flavor water.
packets, like the lemonade. I
Mhm.
know some people have their opinions on the sugar-free products. But
I don't do the sugar-free, right? No, I don't either.
no,
I have
no.
an aunt that used to drink Diet Cokes religiously. She thought she had rheumatoid arthritis, and it turns out she just needed to switch from Diet Coke to regular Coke. And
Oh
it,
wow.
so
Okay.
yeah, they're negative, but they have, I believe, regular sugar packets, and you could make up your own relatively
Yeah.
easily, right? Also, if you drink a lot of dark sodas, going to a fruit soda or a
Oh, I
clear
have to
soda,
stop that too. Dark sodas
they're the
make
worst.
me, they make me itch.
Mm,
Yeah. If I drink too much, so I have to stay
that's
away
not
from that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm on renal dialysis, so certain foods you can't eat, and dark sodas is one of them. Makes the phosphorus goes up, and I just start itching. Peanut butter too. So it's like I have to stay away from certain foods.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So,
so just so you're aware, over in the other community, right, in LH2, I
mm-hmm.
have resources for like transplanting and things like that. So
Okay, thank you.
just let me know and just
Okay,
remind me over there and I'll get those resources for you. Okay, so we
great.
have,
Because I saw, I heard holistic listing, so I'm gonna mention that tonight. Holistic and the transplant series.
yep, we have the holistic includes the Sleep Well series, the stress series, and I can't remember right offhand the other piece that's the healthy living series.
Okay.
And we also have one like on diabetes. I don't know where your transplant possibilities, where all that came from. So just let me know
Yeah,
the
diabetes.
generalities, right? You don't want to give
Yeah,
too much of your
diabetes.
medical away, but just the big ticket items that you're comfortable letting me know, and I can get you the resources for that.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess one change at a time,
There you go. That's really a big recommendation, right?
Yeah,
And then keep
because I
that for
kind of
about 30 days.
stayed away from fast food. I haven't ate fast food in a while. But what is fast food nowadays? I mean, I don't know. It seemed like, I mean, I don't
Okay,
know.
so there's a difference between Subway's got some bad bread, but there's a difference between eating Subway or eating, McDonald's, or Arby's has more real food within their fast food. But even a sit down restaurant, a lot of times is going to have some pretty heavily processed foods, right?
For real food like black beans and rice with grilled chicken, that would be real food.
So they have some restaurants over here on the western side of the country that have things like that. It's called like Costa Rica, Costa Vida.
Yeah, we have more like Cuban, Colombian, Caribbean. So we have a lot of those real foods.
When you go towards that rice, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell the difference between a heavily processed tortilla and a less processed tortilla, right? So there are worse and better places to eat out. In the end, when we do our own shopping and we're cooking at home, one of the recommendations is to stay on the outer sides of your aisles. That's the more real food. That's your meat, that's your produce, generally your bread. Rice and pasta, they're going to be more in the processed style, where pasta is pretty heavily processed, yes, but rice not.
I remember I grabbed a Cheeto puff. My friend almost passed out. She was like, "Oh my God." She was like, "No, you can't eat that." And I was like, "Leave me alone." I had it in a kung fu grip. I was like, "I dare you," but I had to like let it go. So instead of a big bag, I got a little bag.
There you go.
So,
And then I did want to let Vanessa, she had a question for us, or was something that she wanted to add into the conversation.
Oh, I was just gonna say about the soya candles are good, right? Okay.
Yes, candles are an excellent storage supply. Know where your candles and lighters or matches are? Absolutely.
I'm saying for like a substitute for like the plugins and stuff.
Oh, scented candles.
scented
I see what you're
candles.
saying. Yeah, if they're essential oils. Most candles are not essential oils. You have to look for special candles to have those essential oils. Otherwise, you get into those artificial fragrances, and they're not very good for you.
They got places where you can make your candles. I don't know how much it costs, but I know you can
Absolutely.
make
And you
candles.
can use essential oils instead of
Yeah,
artificial
yeah.
fragrances. Mhm.
But thank you, Sabrina. I learned a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vanessa, also for sharing and for asking and contributing, Miss Wendy. Definitely wonderful. Any other thoughts, questions, guys? Excuse me. All right. Go ahead.
Candace has something in the chat. Do you know where to get Malar bags from?
I'm so sorry. Do you know where to get what?
I guess it's Malar bags.
Mylar.
Oh, Mylar. Yes. Okay. So are you talking about for like survival tents and blankets and things like that? Is that Vanessa that's talking?
Yeah, but it was Candace.
Candace suggested it? Okay, gotcha.
That's you.
Well, thank
The
you.
chat.
So I don't know about Mylar bags. Are you talking like for hot, cold bags to bring food home from the store, Candace? Or are you talking about something else?
Where you can store like your dried beans and stuff. You can, those are bags that, like when they bring produce in those big old bags with the string on them. Almost like the bags that we used to use when you do the potato sack race.
Burlap.
Yes.
Burlap.
So, but they call Malar bags, and you can store all of your different rice and beans in them to keep them from bugs. Don't like them.
They don't like burlap. So Mylar is the way, there may be a company or a name that you're thinking of that's spelled a little different, but Mylar is like a metallic, plasticky substance that you see in balloons and things like that. The metallic balloons, that's Mylar. But I understand that you know of something that has some sort of similar sounding name, and it's a good type of bag. Is it maybe a brand that makes the burlap bags? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, burlap bags, I did not know that they resisted pests. That's very good to know. So let's just go and take a peek so everybody can see what you're talking about, right? And so let's get out of all of this and go back to regular Google. Okay, and so then burlap resist pests, we'll say, and see what it has to say. Yes, burlap resists pests by acting as a physical barrier, though it may require treatments for enhanced resistance and is not a permanent solution as it biodegrades, right? So it's a physical barrier, and then maybe the ones that you're thinking of had additional like pest protection inside of them. Maybe that's where you're getting that brand name from your memory, right?
Yep, I think so. I think you nailed it right on the head.
There you go. Very interesting. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, unless there's something else, we can jump into the calendar. Anyone? Anyone? Lots of great thoughts. Love to hear more if anybody wants to share.
Miss Wendy.
All right.
Tell Miss Wendy, if you're trying to be on the health kick, when you when you go to the store, try to get ingredients or objects as 5 ingredients or less.
That's a good suggestion. You're going to be tending more towards real foods a lot of times that way, unless you put like marinades or something in it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5 ingredients or less.
You said 5 ingredients or less because you sound very low. I'm sorry.
Yes, if you're reading the label, try to go for things that are 5 ingredients or less.
That's a very good suggestion. And if you can understand all the words, is even better.
I lost 140 pounds just by reading labels.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
That is so inspiring. Thank you for sharing that, Candace.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's wonderful. All right, guys. Ethel, it sounded like you might have had something you wanted to share. I muted you. You have some background noise.
Oh. I've got some background noise?
You did for a second. It's gone now, though.
It may be me. Am I mute speaker, maybe? Anyway, hi guys, how are you doing tonight? I was gonna put some ways to make candles. I have some information that I had downloaded, and I'm gonna put it in the collective rewilding information, so you guys can look it up. Also, how to make air fresheners and things like that from cinnamon and things of that sort, which is stuff you already have in your house.
Very nice.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You're welcome.
And Candace, you have your hand up as well?
I was about to say, I think I got some baby cucumbers already.
Yay!
Send me some. Send me some.
Babies are here. Yay.
That's just wonderful news all around, guys.
Okay, one thing about those cucumbers, they are small this morning, and by afternoon, they're big.
Well, I mean, the plant's still small, so I'm like, oh.
What are you gonna do with them? You gonna make some juice? Salads?
They
Eat them.
grow real fast.
Just eat them.
Cucumber
Oh my
salad.
goodness. My husband and my girls love the cucumbers. They do all kinds of things with them, right?
That's cool.
Pickle
I
them.
never knew there was cucumber oil. That was a shock to me. I didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, with the skin, with the peel. I was
That's
like,
because
oh,
you're putting on your eyes, right? So is it some sort of cosmetic type of an oil, or is it like an essential oil?
oh,
Or,
that's true, right? I think it's essential oil, and they say you can ingest it too.
let's check it out.
Yeah, and it smells good too.
Oh, a lightweight moisturizing oil for anti-aging, dry skin, and hair care. Cucumber seed oil. Interesting.
Oh, spa day.
Exactly, right? And so fragrance, it doesn't look like it's for cooking with. So it doesn't look like they use that. So let's just say, see if there's culinary uses. I'm just curious. Limited culinary use. And is not a common cooking oil and has a subtle flavor. However, it can be incorporated into cold dishes for flavor and health benefits, used as a food supplement, or in some cases, as a very light cooking oil alternative for nonstick purposes. Very interesting. Yeah,
Wow.
making
Okay.
this stuff all over the place.
No waste, right?
There you go. Absolutely. All right. Any other thoughts, guys? I don't want to shut it down, right? Anybody else want to share?
Benny is trapped in his hand.
Benny says, I use coconut sugar instead of regular sugar. I think I
Okay.
have some of that, and we never tried it, Benny. And you like it? Do you notice much difference or flavor of coconut in it?
Is it expensive?
Yeah, good question.
Go check it out on Google, see how much it costs.
Well, let's
Oh.
let Benny answer. You know, he's telling us these things. We can wait for him to answer. Less sweet, it can be expensive.
The
Interesting.
good stuff always is, right? The healthy
Mhm.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But you can get coconut oils, and so we get a coconut sunflower oil. That one's not too expensive. We can get coconut oils that aren't too expensive. The one that I really love that's really expensive is macadamia oil. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's like $30 for a glass bottle that's like this big, but
Yeah, I get a 14 ounce. I don't know what brand, but I buy it through Walmart, and it's like less than $5, like 440
it's
something or something like that. And I use it for my hair, my skin.
yeah, and that's the cucumber oil, right?
No, coconut oil.
Oh, coconut oil. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I use it for my hair, my skin.
It's
Yeah.
real good.
I
Yeah.
use an avocado oil for my hair.
Oh,
And it went
okay.
curly, right? It went curly after my kids were born, and I learned that you have
I
to
have
put
curly
oil
hair
in
too.
it. Oh,
It's lovely on my hair. I went curly too, so naturally curly.
that's
So.
how you had you had that same process? Your hair changed for you as well?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
so
I didn't have any
crazy, right?
kids. Stress.
But yeah, no, your hair can change for a variety of reasons. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
learning how to deal with curls when you didn't have to deal with curls is quite challenging.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Wonderful conversation. As always, thank you all. Let's jump into Collectively Rewilding's calendar here. We will be back tomorrow for the Let's Quit Together, Miss Wendy, if you are able to join us. And that will
Okay.
be at 2:00 p.m. Pacific, 3:00 p.m. Mountain, 4:00 p.m. Central, and 5:00 p.m. Eastern. Whatever you want to quit, right? It doesn't matter. You want to quit playing too many video games. You want to quit watching too much TV, soda, cigarettes, alcohol, of course, all the basics, right? But anything that you want to, or maybe you even just want to implement better habits. Maybe you don't necessarily have any of those horrible habits like smoking cigarettes, but maybe you would like to still eat better, or maybe you'd like to incorporate exercise into your
Drink
life.
more water.
Drink more water, right? My mom hears you very well with that one. She really has to work for that goal. Not her favorite libation. So, all right. Definitely hope to see you guys all there. And please feel free to unmute everyone and say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Buenos noches.
Good night.
Bienvenido.
Morning. See you
Bye-bye.
guys tomorrow.
Yeah.